Start for today's class. So in last class we discussed basically about assigning anything to a variable. So what is variable, what can be assigned to variable, and basic operations about variable, like a local variable, global variable, how a variable will get updated, how can we make use of a variable in different places. So those basic introduction about Python has been done in the last class. So in continuation with that, we'll be going today. So last class we discussed about the numbers. So numbers is very basic. We can do all the mathematical operations here. So once you go, if you go through this tutorial page, you will clearly understand once after my session. So last time we discussed about the variable declaration, right? So this is basically depends upon the variable declaration. So if you are aware about the variable declaration, then you can do all the mathematical operations which supports by Python. So this is the place where we stopped in the last class. So hope you've gone through this tutorials point. And in continuation to this, so today we'll be starting the strings. So today we'll try to cover the strings and lists as a topic. So in last class we discussed about we have multiple data types, right? So numbers is the one, and we have strings, lists, tuples, and dictionary. These are the main data types in the Python. And so today we are discussing about the strings, the next topic. So like every variable declaration, we can directly declare anything. If you declare anything to a variable, depending upon the anything, the data type of that variable will be determined. So here, if we give quotes, single quotes in a string, so that is called string. So if there is anything inside the single quote, that is string. And if you declare that to any variable, then variable A also will become a type string. So if you give the type of A, it will print you the string. So every variable in Python, we have a type. It can be a class instance, it can be a function instance, it can be a data type instance, or whatever it may be. So everything will be having a type. So sometimes you might confuse depending upon the type. So some operations which you are applying on that particular variable may not apply properly because you are in a wrong assumption about the type of that variable. So if there is any situation across, you need to make sure what type it is and you are applying the proper properties of that particular type. Okay, so here declaration of the string type, we can declare in a single quotes, we can declare in a multiple quotes also, and we can declare in a triple quotes also. So this is single quotes, anything inside this is also string. This is double quotes, anything inside this is also a string. This is triple quotes, anything inside is also a string. So why three types of declaration for only string means, so if you use a single quotes as a string, so if you are declaring any small a single character or a small word or a small sentence, then you can use a single quotes. And similarly, you can use, this is preferable thing. So if double quotes means there is a big sentence kind of thing. So those kind of situations you use double quotes. So triple quotes, basically you will be giving when you are giving any big comments So if you want to comment some piece of code, so you want to comment 10 lines of code, then you need to do this triple quotes. So all these 10 lines of code will go inside the triple quotes. So if suppose here we have some piece of line, so you can give like this. So in our testing purpose or any debugging purpose, you don't want to run whole set of code which is currently running. So you can comment those lines in this way and you can try executing. And another thing is like mostly whenever you are giving the doc strings to any function, so you basically give triple quotes. So Python expects this thing. So if there is a function, okay, and if there is a parameters, so if you have a function like this, if you give triple quotes like this and if you give an enter, so it automatically gives a proper format of a doc string. So where in the first line you can give the description about this function and it gives the parameters what you used as a function. You can give the description about that parameters, what is that parameters, what is the data type that parameter is expecting, and what is the expected return value. So once you return, if you execute that function, you'll be returning something. So what will be expected return value? Either it can be a positive case or a negative case. So if anyone see this function, they directly they can easily understand what this function properties really does for that particular piece of code. So those kind of situations majorly we use the triple quotes. Okay. Yeah. So there is a difference between string in 2.7 version of Python and the 3.x version of Python. So in 2.7, string is a string type, but string is also easily readable in the type of byte type. So string is also called as a byte type. But if there is any string in the Unicode type, you need to specifically modify back to string. So you need to, if there is something, any sentence in the Unicode, sometimes some APIs returns in the Unicode, sometimes some functions returns in the Unicode. So those kind of times, if you want to do any manipulation or use that data inside that return value, which came in the Unicode format, you need to convert that into string. So that means like you got something, suppose this is normal string, but assume this as a Unicode string. So if you want to use this, you need to do a type conversion. So str of a. So str of a means it converts the Unicode string to normal string and you can assign that to another variable, and from this variable we can make use of that what is the content inside the A. So if it is a Unicode type, directly you cannot use content inside A without type conversion. So this story is about 2.7 and 2.x version. But in 3. And upcoming versions, so Unicode is also converted as a string, or in other words, string is also called as Unicode. But if there is anything coming in the byte string, then definitely you need to do the type conversion. So how we are doing a type conversion? If suppose like A is a byte string, then you need to convert that as a normal string and store it into B, and then you can use it. So you got the difference between 2.x and 3.x version depending on the string manipulation, right? Suri, Akka?
చెప్పండి.
Yeah, ఈ string manipulation understand అయిందా?
అర్థం అవుతుంది.
Same boost, even I can understand.
Okay. So why? Because like most of the functions, right? If something you are expecting from third-party source or any other APIs which written in different languages. So there are possibility like they will written in a Unicode format or a byte string format. So because of some security reasons, they will not directly written in a string format. So in those conditions, you need to take that return value, check that type, what is that type. So if you store that return value in any variable and check the type of that variable. So this will print you the what is the exact type of that value. So if it is a string, plainly you can start using it. If it is in another type, then you especially it will be in a byte string in a 3.x or a Unicode string in the 2.x. So that time you need to convert it into normal string and then you need to use it. So that is sometimes it is important. Okay, so here we are having a new operation called slicing feature. So slicing feature means a string which is getting declared can be divided or name each letter with the index. So means like here we have a string called Purandar. So P stands in the 0th index, U stands in the 1 index, R stands in the 2 index. So starting from the 0, each letter will have its own index value and it is unique and identity. And we can do a slicing operation means like you can access content inside this variable depending upon its exact position. So if you want to use which is in the 3rd position, so you can directly say like A of 3, which gives that particular letter which is in the 3rd index. So 3rd index means 4th position because it is starting from the 0. So breaking the string into individual indexed values is called slicing. So we have different operations in the slicing. So only if you want to call something by the name of the index, you can directly pass the index number here and you can use it. And one more thing is like if you want from the range, so from particular index range to particular index range, then that is also possible. So you want from index 2 to index 6. So this is the syntax. You need to give the start index and the end index. So this means like it starts from index 2, 0, 1, 2 and ends with the 6th index, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here 6 means it won't consider the 6th index also. It will consider only one index before. So that is something which we need to remember when we are using the slicing operation. So it doesn't mean that if you are giving 6, it will take the 6th index also. It will take only till 5th index. And one more thing is here, you can give the gaps or positions. Means like if you give 2 here, it will in the same range 2 to 6, it will take only every second position in this 2 to 6 complete length. You got it? So 2 to 6 length is like R, A, and D. And if you give a third slicing method as if you pass something in the number here. So depending upon the number, if you pass 2 from in this output, every second element from starting. So this is first element, 0, 1, and 2. So it will take this one. And it will give one gap and another element. It will give like that. And you can give in this way also. If you want everything from the string, but everything from the means like gaps of 2, steps of 2, that is also possible. So colon means like here it expects something, but we are not giving anything. That means like it takes from starting to ending by default, and it will take the index step as 2. So for every second character, it will take that as a output. So this is the major feature in the slicing. So this slicing operation is very much important. Why? Because like we need to extract so many things from the output. So that time we will this slicing operation will be very much useful. And the same slicing operation is common for the tuples also. So there is no difference between tuple and list, but only thing is like once list is declared, we can easily change, update the list and the number of elements inside the list also. But in the tuple, once declared, it is static. We cannot modify the number of elements as well as their positions and the value of that elements also. Only if there is any reference of that variable, that only will be changed, not the variable actually. So that I will tell you when we discuss about the tuple. So the slicing operation is common in both list and tuple data types. Okay. So indexing not only from the starting, you can go in the reverse way also. So if indexing starts from 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on, and the reverse way, the last element in the list named as -1, last but one as -2. Okay, so in that way we can indexing can be done in the reverse way as well. So here you can see the last element is R, that is -1. Last but one is A, that is -2. So reverse indexing is also possible. That too, previously what we discussed, the colon, that one is also possible. So I will tell you what is the difference between single colon and double colon. So without any colons, if you give, that is called indexing of with respect to its positions. Okay, so once you give its colon, so that the meaning will be different. So it says like from here you didn't give anything, so it by default comes as a 0 as an index. So the meaning of this is 0 to -1 index. Okay, so if you give something here, it will take index 2 to -1. So in the same slicing operation, you can give both positive and negative slicing values, but only thing is like you need to remember it should be in a proper meaningful sequence order. So if you are starting here, it should go in a right hand side to left hand side. Okay, so -4 means from last to fourth index, -1 means last index. So in that way also we can go for slicing operation. So if you give double colon, so that means you can reverse everything. So what is there in the A, everything will be reversed. So why? Because like we are giving everything from the default, and you are giving the breaks as a -1. So it takes us in the everything in the reverse one. So you can see the string completely printed in the reverse way. So it can be a single word string or a sentence, whatever it may be. Double colon -1 completely reverse the string. So some mathematical operations also applicable for string, that is like plus operator and ampersand operator. So plus operator means we usually call it as um, string concatenation. So means like if you want to combine two strings, you can do with the help of plus operator called string concatenation. We can add two strings. So we can add multiple strings as well. So here if you want to add gap, So everything inside the codes is a string, whether it is a space, non-space. Non-space means it is an empty string. If we have space, it is also like space as a character, but it is also a string. So that also will be considered. So that also can be done in the string concatenation. So the thing which we need to remember is string concatenation or any concatenation in the Python supports only when both the values belongs to the same data type. If A is a string data type, the another value which you are adding to it should also be the same data type. So if A is a list, so another variable which you are adding to that one also should be a list. So similarly, like it works with list, dictionary, strings, numbers, but not a tuple, because once we declare a tuple, it is not changeable. So that is not possible in the tuple. And multiplication operation also is available. Means like how many times you need to repeat the same string. Okay, so it's the same string if you want to repeat for a particular number of times. So ampersand using multiplication, you can multiply that string. And we have some basic properties like on top of any string, we can do some particular operations. Yeah. So this is the whole table of the operations which we can perform on the string. So we will discuss only the main methods basically which we regularly use. Okay. So we already declared a string called AA. So in that we have AA. Once you declare, this is a variable, but this is also an object. So every object has its own properties. So properties of the object will be derived from means like using the dot character, we can derive the properties of that particular variable. So if you means like if you using Python editor, so once you declare any variable, so or in an object, so if you put a dot, it will suggest you what and all the operations that can be made or done on this particular declared variable. So this helps you, means like this editor helps you to show you the suggestions. If you know only so starting letters of some methods, so by typing that one, it will give the complete suggestions of that one. So first we will do the capitalize. So the capitalize method, what it will do is like it will convert the first character of that particular string. String can be a single word or a sentence, whatever it may be. So it converts the first character of the string into capital letter and everything into small letters. So here you can see like first two letters are small and few are caps and again small. So it is randomly capitalized. If you call the capitalize function to that particular string, so it will rearrange the caps of that string and allows you the first character of the string as caps and everything in the small letters. Similarly, dot upper and dot lower. So dot upper converts the complete string into all uppercase. Dot lower converts all characters in the string into lowercase. Sorted is one of the important thing. Means like if you have any randomly generated list, Yeah, if this meeting link disconnects, I will send again a new link in the WhatsApp group. So we have a list with unordered numbers. So if you see, pass that list to a sorted function. So here sorted function is a inbuilt method in Python 3. So in Python 2.7 and 2.x version, you call it as a sort. So that directly you can apply on the list actually. List.sort, it will sort that list. But here we need to pass that list as a parameter to this sorted list. So that is the difference in 2.7 and 3.x versions. So here you can see the whole list is arranged in a sorted manner. And we have one more operation similar like it is called a set. Set operation will not allow duplicates. Means like it will rearrange everything, but it makes sure the element repeats only once. So here you can see like 2 repeated for 2 times, 3 repeated for 2 times. So if you pass that same list to set inbuilt method, so it will allow only once that element, it will remove all the duplicate elements. So you can see the type. So it is a curly braces. So you cannot directly use the elements inside this one. So this is a set of A sets everything and sorts also and assigns into a variable C, and the data type of that variable C is a set, and you cannot do any slicing operations on the C. In that case, you need to do a type conversion. Okay, so type of C is set, and if you convert that C into list, it will print all the elements in the list format. And once it is in the list format, then you can easily do all the slicing operations or loop operations on this list, converted list basically. Okay. So we have one more inbuilt method, max and min. So the max method, it depends upon the data type of the variable which is applied to this function. Its behavior will be changed. So now we pass the string as a data type. So max will say what is the highest alphabet in the past string. So similarly in min also, what is the lowest alphabet in the past string. But whereas if you pass A as a list, max gives you what is the highest number in that list, and min gives you what is the lowest number in that list. These are the inbuilt functions basically. So this is not necessary to be imported, they are inbuilt. So depending upon the data type you pass to that one, it will understand and return accordingly. So this center basically like So you have a string a, variable a, and you want to place that a in the center of some number of characters, and all the remaining characters you want to replace with some string, then you can do like this. So I have Purandar that should be placed in between some 20 stars here, 20 stars here. I can place like this. So this will be usually sometimes helpful when you are printing anything in the runtime, or usually automation projects, the outputs are starting of the script and ending of the scripts, some comments, those and all will be passed in this way. So in those conditions, this will be helpful. So this will attracts your eye in the black console in the command prompt when the script is running very fast. So count. So similarly, like in this A string, if you pass which letter you want to count, so it will identify how many times that letter has been available in that particular string. So if you don't pass any from ones to, so throughout the string, how many times A got repeated, it will let you know. And if you pass from and to, this is from and to parameters. So I want from 4th index to 10th index. So in this from and to length, how many times this character A has been repeated. So it will print you that count. So ends with and starts with. So this is also important. So most of the times we will be using. So if suppose there is something string, we need to make sure whether it ends with some particular desired character or string. So you can use with. So not only it supports character, it supports word also. So I have a string A. If I say like string A ends with R, it will return the boolean value. So string A return ends with R, so it returned true. String A doesn't start with R, so it returned false. So if I say P here, then it also will return true. Okay. So joins. Join is also one of the important thing. You can join a sequence of items into particular single string, and you can make distinguishing between the each string by the delimiter which you are passing it here. So you have a list called names. Okay, so you want to join all the elements in the list as a single string. So in that particular time, you need to use join method. So join method only applies only when the string is empty with some delimiter. So now here it is a empty string, and I joined sequence of elements which is available in this list, and I printed the new variable. So if I want any delimiter, so I want space as a delimiter between the words, then I can use space here. Instead, if you want to give any other character as a delimiter, then you can do other character as a delimiter here. And this is also important. So I have a sentence. I need to break each word of this sentence. So if I do like that string dot split, it will split each word taking space as a default delimiter and assigns all that words as a single string, and that those are the elements to one list, and it will print that list. Okay, so here if you want any specific delimiter, that also you can pass it here. So here A is a delimiter, so it considers wherever A is there, so that is one set of a string. So by seeing the output, you can understand what the delimiter specification is.